In the air, deep left field. Back goes Cespedes, looking up, and is out of here. Giancarlo Stanton strikes. A 3-run homer, his 45th of the year. And the Marlins now lead at 5-1.
Stanton, 12 home runs in his last 20 games. 41 games left in the season. He needs 15 to get to 60, 16 to get to Roger Maris and 61. Is that out of the question, getting to that 61 mark?
It's not out of the question because of the current pace he's on. Normally, I'd say it's out of the question. This guy seems to be capable of anything right now because it's the hottest he's ever been in his career. He's 27 years old. We've seen a lot of power from Stanton before. We've seen him get real white hot at the bat. Then we've seen him get injured or kind of slow down at times. There's never been a stretch of his career where he's had his power swing going more than since the All-Star break. And really in the last 20 games, you see 12 home runs in a 20-game span is just absolutely ridiculous. To think in the, 41 games he has left, 41 games left, I just don't think he can hit 16 more and tie Roger Maris.
Really?
He can. Of course he can.
He's got 12 in 20 games. Project that out to 40 games. That would be 24.
He slowed down the last couple games. That 12 and 20, it was actually like 10 and 11 or whatever it was.
Like six straight.
Starting to slow.
Okay.
We're starting to see it thin out. The home runs per at-bats is starting to come back down to earth from the meteoric place it was. It's just tough to hit 15, 16 home runs in a 41-game span. I'm going to say he doesn't. I'm going to keep being wowed every time he hits one, and I'll be happy to wear my hat in my hand and say, I was dead wrong. Here he is. And if he does it, it would be really cool because I still hold that 61 mark as the real record. I think every home run, single-season home run number over 61, when you look at who's done it, whether it's Sosa, McGuire, Bonds, I think they're all tainted. So I think if he could hit 61 or more, we would see Roger Maris's old record from 1961 tied or eclipsed. It would be legit in my mind. This is something that none of Sammy Sosa's home run seasons, none of Barry Bonds or Mark McGuire's, when we get to a certain point in their career and we know a little bit about what we know, I just don't look at them as legit. So this would be really something special for a guy that's not playing for anything else. The Marlins are out of it. You know, a lot of talks of, okay, should Jeter and the new ownership group try to move him? Is his contract handcuffing them? For him to go on this crusade towards that number of 60 and potentially 61 is really something special to follow over the next 6 weeks of baseball.
Would that put him in the MVP race? Just to get to 60, even if they have a losing record, even if they don't go to the playoffs, the number is just such a huge milestone.
I think it really almost would have to get to 60 for him to have a chance in the NL MVP. I think the NL MVP is a tougher one to win than the AL MVP right now. If he was in the American League, I think he might be right there with Altuve, but I just don't think he gets there. I think he winds up mid-50s. I think that launches him into the conversation for MVP. But I hope I'm wrong, and he gets to 60.
60 is certainly a special mark. Only 5 guys have done it. You mentioned them: Bonds, Sosa, McGuire, Maris, and Babe Ruth is the 5th guy. We'll see if Stanton can get there as